Yo, Sanjay Uche here, people. Hoping everyone's having an awesome New Year's Eve or even New Year's Day, depending on when you're listening to this. I really wanted just to do something, I guess, for New Year's, New Year's Eve. I also wanted to say thanks to the subscribers and all those who supported me over the last 6 months, really, because taking time out of your day to actually listen to my opinion, to my content. It might not seem like much, but I'm really grateful for that, honestly. And I just want to say thanks again to everybody who's supporting me, who's going to continue supporting me, and I guess those I'm hoping who are yet to come. So there's that. But yeah, I hope everybody's doing good. For today, really and truly, I'm actually just gonna do like I guess, looking back on Dragon Ball Super as a whole. I guess from the arcs to a bit of the production, and I might give it a rating up to from the beginning to the end of the Goku Black arc. I might give it a rating. So there's that. So just strap in and listen to my opinion here, folks. Alright, yeah, enough messing around. But yeah, just strap in, just chillax. And I'm hoping we can have a combo in the comment section below. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe for more Dragon Ball content, Naruto content. I'm hoping to do some more stuff in the future. But let's go, people! Alright, so Dragon Ball Super, it was originally announced back in the summer of 2015, if memory serves right. And it premiered on July 5th. Yeah, the 5th of July. I believe it was that weekend there, that Sunday. And like a lot of people were hyped, well, to say the least, including me. But we later found out that we'll be getting anime adaptations of the movies. And these were movies like we had just got done seeing, basically. We had already seen Battle of Gods in 2013 and basically rewatched it in 2014. Sorry, guys. Yeah, when it got dubbed, if memory serves right, 2014 was it? And Resurrection F had just premiered in Japan like a few months before Super actually aired. What's wrong? Sorry about that, guys. Stupid. My throat just feels away. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. But yeah, so Resurrection F had premiered like a few months before, and it was kind of like a Kai, like a Dragon Ball Kai kind of syndrome, because I don't know about people all over the world, but here in Jamaica, a lot of people, at least the Dragon Ball fans, obviously, they didn't really take too kindly to, seeing this Dragon Ball Kai come up on their anime streaming sites and clicking it and finding that it's basically the same thing as what they've already seen. But obviously, at the end of the day, Kai is a better anime adaptation than Z, where the source material is concerned. But the regular Dragon Ball fan may not realize that. And it kind of dawned on me that a lot of people, where entertainment is concerned, where anime, where this kind of this medium, I guess, taking content you've seen already and putting it in another form, and I guess I wouldn't say force, but letting people take in this regurgitated content, it doesn't sit well with consumers, apparently. So with that said, like, you've got to ask, like, was this necessary, really? Taking these movies which were basically decent quality, to say the least, and putting them in a anime format where you have production constraints and all of that. And the answer is no. And it's no because of the execution, really and truly. Now, I had done a video about my opinion on Super before, when I just started my Dragon Ball content on my channel. You can probably check it out. But it's basically the same as what I'm going to say now, probably slightly different, but whatever. Yeah, so it's based on Toei's execution of these arcs. Oh, I'm sorry if I hadn't mentioned it before, but this, I guess, retrospective or looking back is gonna be specifically catered to the anime. Of course, I'll be using manga references to support some of my points, but you'll see why when I get there. So yeah, Toei's execution of the Battle of Gods and Resurrection F arc, I guess, if I'm being frank, it's piss poor. Alright, probably not piss poor, but really and truly, based on their execution, it's made me realize that these two arcs in Super were completely unnecessary. They stand as, I mean, if you haven't watched the movies, I guess they stand out more, but as a Dragon Ball fan who's obviously seen the movies already, to me, Super's quality degrades with the execution of these two arcs. Now, granted, the Battle of Gods arc, I think, did an okay job, and the Resurrection F arc was poor to me, honestly. And it really stems from, I guess, well, not even I guess, the obvious complaints that we, well, all the complaints that we got from the fan base, ranging from animation, poor choreography, and the pacing, really and truly. In the Battle of Gods case, it's probably too long. In some cases, it felt like it was dragging on, and I think in the Resurrection of F arc, it's too quick. And that leads me to my next point about the movie retellings, is that the execution is like a series of missed opportunities, because honestly, when these movies, well, not movies, when Super was coming out and I found out that, hey, they're redoing these arcs, it kind of showed it to me that, okay, they can use this as an opportunity to improve on whatever the movies didn't do right, because obviously movies have a certain budget, they have a certain time frame to get things done. So in an anime format, they can expound on things, they can fix problems that were there. And granted, I guess a plus should go to Super. There were some interesting changes, but not the changes that I necessarily wanted to see, or I guess not the change that should have been there. Really and truly. And this is especially the case in the Resurrection F arc, because I think that's the weaker of the two new era movies, so to speak. In the Battle of Gods arc, right? I mean, it really stays faithful to the movie. I'd say pretty spot on. I mean, not a lot of things needed to be changed from that movie, but I think that movie itself was the start of some power scaling issues that Super's made worse, and Super hasn't really done anything to correct that. The Resurrection F arc, though, was a series of missed opportunities where, like, explaining Super Saiyan Blue, Frieza's training, of course, what he did. Even though we did get some snippets of that, it wasn't anything substantial. So these two arcs really come off as poorly executed in terms of improving on the movies, and I guess by extension, like, what's the sense then? If they're not going to improve on the movies, because if they did, I wouldn't really have a problem, and they wouldn't pull Super's, I guess, overall grade down in my perspective. But they didn't do that, so by extension, it pulls Super down as a whole, and I guess just seems like a waste of time, really and truly. I did mention that the Battle of Gods arc was the start of the power scaling issues, but power scaling, like, that can be a lengthy video by itself. I don't really want to get too much into that, but I'll touch on some of that as I go along here. But I mean, overall, the Battle of Gods arc was okay, and I think Resurrection F was poorly done, really and truly. And at times they, well, I mean, I'm basically implying that message here. The arcs really come off worse off than the movies, and really and truly, because these arcs are there, I think Super's first original arc suffers. And this is the point where I'm going to transition over into the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 arc. Alright, so we're past the movie retellings. Everybody's hyped. Everybody's saying Super is going to be pretty good now. And here we have it. Super's first original arc. And my general feelings on this arc is that it's how should I even put it? I don't want to really say good. It's an okay to a good. It's an arc that could have been better if it had more time. So if you see what I'm saying now, is that the fact that the movie retellings are there, they kind of draw away from, they kind of pull down the Universe 6 arc in a way. Because to me, the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 arc could have easily been 40 episodes, honestly speaking. Really and truly. And it's that it's the reason I say that is that it has interesting characters that we can all hype over, like Hit, and we can see the potential in Kaba, but overall it's really just their designs and their possible potential that everybody's hyping over, really and truly. In terms of like backstory and all of that, their life up to this point, it's like we just have interesting characters that we hardly know much about, really and truly. I mean, of course, during the fights with each of these characters, we had some backstory, but it could be so much more, really and truly. And I'm not gonna bash the arc, really and truly, because it's really at this point we can see things like improved animation, the fight choreography improved, of course, with things like with characters like Zeno, and I guess well, it was just Zeno and his guards that appeared, really and truly, but it's really at this point that the lore and the whole god hierarchy really, I guess, expanded, and we got to see Super Shenron, really and truly. So the arc did have its perks, it did have its good moments that really, I guess, did right, really and truly. But that's really the thing, though. The arc itself could have been much longer, really and truly. It could have taken up the time the movie retellings actually did, really and truly. Like those 28 episodes, 27. Like I think the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 arc could have basically taken up all of that space, plus its own run that it did from 28 to 40, 41, 42, about there, that episode there. So there's that, and it's really and truly at this point that the power scaling that I mentioned, looking back on it, the iconic scene at this point, I guess it's fair to call it iconic, right, people? Of Goku's Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10, and the show implying to us that Goku is still nowhere near to Beerus. So the thing is, in this kind of retrospective video looking back, I gotta clear up a few things. Alright, people, the scale that we had in the movies of, Beerus nearly using 70%, the interview with Toriyama saying that Beerus is a 10, Whis is a 15, Super Saiyan God Goku being a 6. Those percentages, those scales, really and truly, those only apply to the movies. They have been completely retconned. Basically, they've been completely changed for the Super anime series and manga, I would suppose, by extension. But the recurring power scaling problem, right? And I'm focusing on Beerus here because I'm comparing it to the Kaioken times 10 scene, is that they're making Beerus out to be this infinitely strong person, right? Well, probably not infinitely, but way above Goku and Vegeta. When in the Battle of Gods arc, even though we know Beerus didn't use his full power, we assume that God Goku would be at a decent percentage of his power, probably at least 10 at least. I mean, judging by how it's portrayed, you'd guess that. And we get to this point where Goku's had what about a year of training with Whis, 3 years of training in the time chamber with Vegeta, and then we add a Kaioken times 10 Super Saiyan Blue, and still not stronger than Beerus. So people are kind of wondering what's up with that, and I can't blame them honestly, because honestly, as the series goes on, and this problem continues into the Goku Black arc as well. The problem with making Beerus seem so powerful, and it goes, and it's pretty much confirmed that that's what they're doing, because Toriyama came out in an interview and mentioned that he doesn't want Goku and Vegeta to surpass Beerus anytime soon. But the problem with that is that it takes away from the Battle of Gods arc, really and truly. It takes away from the Super Saiyan God form, at least in the anime series, this Super specifically. Because if it's basically what they're saying is that Beerus could have ended that fight at any point in time. So it really just, even though I find it funny because the writers, Toei themselves, have actually, I guess, acknowledged this really and truly, in a sense, in terms of how strong they've made Beerus. I probably might throw up a screenshot here, but in episode 18 of Dragon Ball Super, I went back and checked before starting this video. Whis mentions that Goku and Vegeta, the level they're at compared to the gods, and by extension Beerus is part of this, is that if Beerus's full power was essentially the height of how far his castle reaches up to the sky, essentially, Goku and Vegeta would be a tree. So that's them basically confirming that they've retconned the power scaling from the movies, and that this is something different. But even though that's kind of like damage control, but it's still, to me, it takes away from the Battle of Gods arc. That's a mouthful. But yeah, so they've basically made Beerus super powerful. But all in all, the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 arc, it was okay to somewhere in between okay and good. Continuing the retrospective though, I'm wondering if I should move on from Universe 6 versus. Is there anything else like I really need to say on it, really and truly? It has potential. I mean, I think conclusive for Universe 6 is that it has potential for more stories, especially for the Saiyans. Funny enough, it's all about the Saiyans. Yeah, Kaba, or Kabe, however it's pronounced. Sorry if I'm butchering that name. But yeah, I mean, potentially seeing Goku and Vegeta going to the same homeworld in Universe 6 and getting more stories there, it's interesting. Of course, more stories with hits would also be interesting. But I think, especially in the hit fights, I think it's debatable with the whole time skip thing as well. Like, I'm kind of like straying here, but just I think, forget it. Moving on. Before I even get to the Goku Black arc in this retrospective, I'd say one thing Super does do well is slice of life. The episodes everybody's just chilling, the comedic episodes. I think that's where Super like really shines. I mean, going back to even episode 2, the episode with Vegeta on the family vacation, beautiful episode, beautiful. Episode 1 wasn't too bad. But overall, the slice of life in Super is great, and that really stems from the fact that Super does character interactions so well. It honestly feels like a genuine blend of original Dragon Ball gag humor and I guess the more serious versions in, I guess, aspects of Z. It kind of feels like a nice blend, really and truly, and that's in its entirety. I have to, I guess, give Super it's I guess gold badges, it's gold stars, yeah. So there's that. So now we really move on. That's all I really have to say on the slice of life, really and truly. But we move on to the Goku Black, the future Trunks arc of this, I guess, looking back, this retrospective.
いよいよだ。今日こそお前の息の根が止まる日だ。サイヤ人よ。
Man, this arc started off amazing. Before I actually, I guess, dissect it, this arc, the music, the animation continues. It had its down moments here and there, but like generally speaking, the animation, the choreography, the music, honestly, it was up there for this arc. It legitimately felt like the dark days, or the more tension-filled days of Z, honestly speaking. And the whole concept of an evil Goku, it's nothing new to the Dragon Ball fandom, but it kind of left us for a loop on a weekly basis as we kind of try to figure out the identity of Goku Black. And props must go to Masako Nozawa. Damn it. Yeah, Goku's Japanese voice actress. She, like, her performance as Goku Black is amazing, honestly. I think even some of my friends here didn't even know that Goku Black and Goku had the same voice actress. Overall, people here don't really, they prefer Sean Schemmel for Goku, but based on what I've seen, nobody has had a problem with Goku Black here in terms of voice actress, or the voice actor. So props must go to that. The arc, despite its many problems, and it has many, despite that, it is to me the best arc in Super. Really, the best arc in Super. And of course, for the reasons I stated before, I mean, we had new transformations, we had the tension, the music, the choreography, the animation, the suspense, the mystery. It just overall felt like a Z-based arc. And Super was finally coming into its own. Like, Universe 6 was like a good start for the super original content, but this is what really propelled Super for me. But the thing is with this arc, looking back on it, is that, and this, of course, again, just a reminder, is I'm referring to Toei's version of this arc, the anime. The arc really suffers from pacing problems, or probably not pacing problems, but more specifically what Toei, the animation studio, chose to do with the screen time. Now, I'm not saying that Trunks interacting with a lot of the characters was bad. That's actually one of the positive sides of this arc. I especially enjoyed the episode with him and Gohan. The episodes, I guess, reintroducing Trunks back to the main cast of characters, essentially, and what they've been up to. Especially that scene with him finding out that Android 18 and Krillin are together. Those little character interaction moments, as I said, Super does well, and I think that's a plus. But the thing is with this arc is that it needed more time. It needed more time. At times it felt slow, but I understood. Like, I didn't really have a problem when it felt like it was kind of moving slow. But it just, towards the end, it just sped up like too fast, and I think that's a similar thing I was saying with the Universe 6, because I think the Universe versus Summer could have been like 40 episodes to me, honestly, and it's the same here. The trend is that the arc could have been longer. So because of this now, because of how they're executing, how Toei executed it affects a lot of things, really and truly, from the power scaling to the finale. I guess you can see that efforts are being made, but it comes off as Toei. It really comes off as they're telling us a lot of things instead of showing us a lot of things. For example, training, really and truly in Trunks' case, and I'll get to that. Basically, too much is left to assumption in a lot of instances in this arc, from Goku Black's Super Saiyan Rose to Trunks' form to Trunks' power-ups to it's ridiculous, and it really takes away from the arc. The arc could have been extraordinarily good, but like it could have been amazing, but to me it falls to just good, really and truly. And some people I know would rate it even lower than that, really and truly. Some people would probably say it crashed and burned. Started off good and then crashed and burned, really and truly. But to me it's still good. It's still a good arc. The thing is, and as I said, it really stems from what Toei decided to do with the screen time. For example, Trunks training with Vegeta. More time should have been spent on that, really and truly. Because when they execute it like this, and as I said, it comes off more as like they're trying to tell us more than show us, it kind of comes off as I mentioned, too much is left to assumption. So for example, Trunks goes back with Goku and Vegeta to the future initially, and all of a sudden he can take on Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black, sorry, yeah, but Goku Black, whatever. Yeah, he can take on Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black, kind of push him back in a sword battle and kick him into a building. He can, well, he survived the black Kamehameha that Super Saiyan Rose Goku fired that took out Super Saiyan Blue Goku and live. And it's like you're watching and you're saying like, when did Trunks get this powerful? Like, it kind of comes off as an ass pull, really and truly. I mean, arguments, don't get me wrong, arguments can be made, but it comes off like really ass pullish, really. I mean, we can sit here and assume that, yeah, he trained more with Vegeta beyond what we saw in the anime, but really and truly, it comes off as like poor writing, really and truly. And the power scaling problems in this arc, which kind of center around Trunks, it's not entirely, I guess, this arc's fault, really and truly, in terms of how I guess, comparatively speaking, between the characters, the power scaling is. It all stems from what I was saying back in the Battle of Gods arc, with Goku basically absorbing the Super Saiyan God power, right? So the Battle of Gods arc really starts off the problem in that Goku absorbs the God power, right? And in that fight in the anime, we see we hear the lines from Beerus that Goku has absorbed the God power, right? So in his Super Saiyan form, in the anime, we are assuming that his power level has been boosted to what Super Saiyan God was. Fair enough. Yet, in his Super Saiyan form, he fails to stop an attack that he managed to stop in his base form. So we're left with this kind of ambiguity, like, okay, is he as strong as Super Saiyan God? Is his power level up to that now in his base and Super Saiyan forms? Hence why you see a lot of YouTube, a lot of people making these videos. If Goku has two base forms, is he as strong as Super Saiyan God in his base? Yeah, it's kind of ambiguous. So now, like, when it kind of creates this problem now, where in the following arcs, where if Goku fights someone in a Super Saiyan form, right? Are they as strong as Super Saiyan God? And we see in this arc that Goku can still do Super Saiyan 2 and 3 to stack on his power. So, and considering that Trunks was basically comparable to that, is Trunks as strong as Super Saiyan God Goku? So you see what I'm saying? It kind of creates this power scaling problem, and it to me it kind of diminishes the. It kind of takes away from the Battle of Gods arc as well, because if Trunks can reach up to these levels without becoming a Super Saiyan God, then it kind of just takes away from it, for me at least. But meh. Kind of move on to my next point, the time loop, really and truly. Like, it's a cool concept, but like, alright, here it is. Goku Black appears in the future, causes Trunks to go back to the past, tells Goku meet, by extension, goes to meet Zamasu with Beerus and Whis, and creates Goku Black, who travels to the future. So it's a time loop. The problem with that is that Goku Black says is the same Goku, same Zamasu that fought Goku, right? The problem with this time loop now, which they could have just executed this a whole different way. It's kind of cool that they're kind of making a nod to, like, I guess, Terminator, I suppose, if anyone knows about the whole Kyle Reese, John Connor time loop thing. But the thing is with this time loop is that in the timeline that Black is from, right? Is it that after Goku and Beerus, like, go home, they just say, okay, just screw it, he's not Black, and they do nothing else? That's the problem with the time loop. They could have easily, I guess, just said that, similar to how they're doing it in the manga, that Zamasu meets Goku or learns about Goku under different circumstances, and then Trunks traveling back in time really and truly splits the timeline. Fair enough. That would have been a much simpler thing to do. And if you read the manga, you obviously realize the time loop doesn't exist in the manga, really and truly. So, yeah. The time loop is kind of like a 50-50 thing, looking back on it. And it's caused a lot of headache in the community, honestly. But I mean, aside from that, the time loop aside, I'm going to continue back with the other problems of the arc. Trunks. And I guess before I even continue to talk about Trunks, and I guess his power, because power scaling in this arc is a major problem, and in Super overall, is that we have to kind of look at Trunks before this arc. Like, how did he get so powerful? I'm gonna keep it short. So we have Trunks, who left from the past, from the present, after the Cell games, right? I think I have the years down right here. I believe when he went back to the future, it was age 785, right? He kills the androids. 3 years later, he kills Imperfect Cell. Fair enough. At this point, if I were to make an educated guess, I doubt he would have been training, but I don't think he'd have, I guess, lost much power in that short amount of time. So, and plus he would have, I guess, been helping with the reconstruction that from the damage that the androids would have done. Fair enough. Eventually, Deborah and Babidi show up. He trains with the Supreme Kai in preparation for Deborah. He unlocks Super Saiyan 2. He defeats Deborah with some difficulty. So we know that he's at least above Perfect Cell there. Now, the problem, this is strictly the anime though. I know I keep saying it, but bear with me there. In age 796, Black shows up on Earth and he fights Black for a year, on and off. I would assume that he would have continued to lose over and over again, hence getting a Zenkai boost each time. And that combined with the fact he's a half Saiyan, and we know half Saiyans have more potential than full-blooded Saiyans, it's not hard to see that with all of that said, how he would have caught up to, I guess, Goku and Vegeta's level with, well, if I put in Goku's case with the Super Saiyan God powers, the Super Saiyan God boost to his base and Super Saiyan states. It's not hard to see. And you'd think the movies, probably not movies, but the whole Battle of Gods arc kind of gave me the impression that, hey, this is like not a level you can like just reach up to with just training or whatever. But I think why Trunks gets an excuse from this is based on Goku Black and his power. Because remember, the Zenkai boost really is to, I guess, help Saiyans grow stronger after recovering from a battle, but also I guess when you kind of think about it, kind of prevent them from sustaining the same injuries again. But you have to look at it like this. Zamasu took Goku's body from a point in time, well, a year ahead. So this is a Goku post-God power-up. So Trunks fighting this guy for a year and surviving, escaping each time. I know I need to talk about that after this. Yeah, but surviving each time with a Zenkai boost to adjust to Goku Black's power, it's kinda understandable to see how you get up to that point, right? Fair enough. So Trunks' power at the start of the arc, or midway, from the start to the midway part of this arc is, I guess, understandable. It's justified, I suppose. But I think the problem after that stems back to the initial problems I said for this arc, in that too much is left up to assumption. Toei does a poor job with the screen time in showing us, like, okay, Trunks training more. We only get one training session, and it was more like a beatdown, and we're left to assume that he trains more. Whatever. But yeah, that's the problem. Too much is left to assumption, so the writing kind of comes off as assful.
Garbage from King Garbage of the Garbage Dynasty.
Like assful, really and truly. And it's really seen in the later episodes with Trunks learning the Mofuba, really and truly. And before I even get back to the whole thing I was mentioning with Black, this is the next thing. Trunks, the span of episodes from 61 to 64, the whole back and forth time travel, it's like a poor writing, honestly, because we have the build up of Goku learning the Mofuba and Vegeta training, and then Trunks learns it in like one God 2 video. Just, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's poor writing, and I don't know how Toyotaro will do things in the manga, but like the fact that they build up the Mofuba and just not use it anyway, it's just stupid. And the fact that they just make Trunks learn it instantly, like, I know like Dragon Ball is like a series that the mechanics behind a lot of moves aren't explained, but that was just stupid on their part, honestly, to have Trunks learn Mofuba instantly. And like the next problem with the arc is that we know that Black doesn't necessarily want to destroy the planet, but the fact that the resistance fighters managed to escape from Black so many times, I found to be like ridiculous. I think they could have found like another way to write that into the anime. It just comes off as these regular human people can escape from Goku Black, who's like, what, massively faster than light at this point. Like, it's ridiculous. It's stupid. And that kind of brings me to my next point. The Zero Mortals plan, right? And this is what I was talking about in terms of the arc. It needed more time to develop Zamasu. The thing is, Zamasu to me is a great villain. He gets shit done. He has major depths to him, really and truly. compared to a lot of the other villains from the Dragon Ball franchise. But I don't think he fully lives up to his potential. Like, he could have been something more. And you can see the efforts in like that span of episodes 51 to 55, in which Toei tries to build him up in terms of his interactions with Gowasu and him going to Plant Bobbery and all of that. But it still comes off more as a, they're telling us more than showing us. If we had like more interactions with Zamasu interacting with more mortals, if we had even, and it's kind of like almost two sides of a coin. Like, we have them trying to build up Zamasu and them trying to build up Trunks, but it's never fully realized in either case, so it takes away from the art there. honestly, and the reason why I can tell it takes away from the arc really and truly is that when I compare this instance of Trunks coming back to the last time Trunks came back, it's that when the Android and Cell arcs ended, I had this feeling of, wow, it's over. Shit, that was an epic ride, you know, and it kind of made the whole episodes of peace, you know, apart from the Otherworld filler arc and all of that, but the episodes like we just go on and Goten and Dell, it kind of made those episodes more enjoyable to watch. But with this, I don't get the same feeling because things are rushed, obviously speaking. How long have I been talking here, man? 40 minutes. It's crazy. I don't know. You'd think this would be like a podcast with me and some other people, but I mean, I think it's a well-deserved retrospective on the series, really and truly, to get all my thoughts. I mean, you've been watching my reviews every week, so I guess you've heard my thoughts on episode 66 and Vegito and all of that. But I'm kind of due to do a video to look back on episode 66 specifically, so I won't give all my thoughts here. But 66 may have not. It's very polarizing, but it may have been. It may not have been as bad as we thought, but I'll get to that video sometime after New Year's. But yeah, really and truly though, the arc ended on an asphalt to me, really and truly. Things could have been set up, things could have been built up to a bit better, well, a lot better. So overall, it kind of cuts back on this arc, really and truly, from being exceptionally great, as I said, to it's good. It's good to me personally. But that's basically it. Personally, I didn't have, just saying, I didn't really have a problem with Zeno like coming in there, honestly and really and truly. Just saying that. But all in all, the Goku Black arc, Future Trunks arc, it's good. I mean, we had a great villain, some depth, tension, excellent music, choreography, animation, decently above what we had in the movie retellings. Has problems, pacing, poor use of screen time. The finale, asphalt power-ups towards the end, I suppose. Trunks' power before is justified, I believe, well, not I think, it is justified, but I think, like, going forward, it's debatable. Honestly, it's really debatable. Because, given things are left to our assumption, if we were to assume, I would guess that, yeah. Yeah, Trunks could become that powerful. But it does take away from, I guess, the God transformations. Definitely. Yeah. But I think before I kind of move on to my next point, and that's the production of Super, is that Trunks fought against, and I mentioned this already, Goku Black, who's in Goku's body post God power up. So, really and truly, Trunks getting Zenkai boost to adjust to Black, it could justify his power, really and truly, and the fact that he's half Saiyan. But really and truly, I think I was making a point earlier in the retrospective where use the manga to support my points is concerned. I believe it was Herms. Yes, Herms translated a note, like a character design note from Toriyama, in which Toriyama mentioned, and I'll leave an image here. Toriyama mentioned that Black should have become a Super Saiyan just like Goku, a regular Super Saiyan, which we are seeing in the manga now, and a Super Saiyan of a different kind than Goku. Hence Super Saiyan Rose or Super Saiyan Rose. And my point is, when I was saying that, it's really to help justify Trunks' power in the anime. Now, I know the manga and the anime, and I'm getting to that for the production side of this retrospective, are two different continuities, because I won't get into too much before I get to that point. Two different continuities, sorry. But based on that note that Herms translated, it's, and you would think basically the thing is, you'd think you couldn't use facts from the manga to like justify your point in the anime, but based on that translation note and based on how things go in the manga, Trunks' strength could be justified in the anime, because it's occurring to me that Toei may decide to leave out certain things from Toriyama's original draft, just like what I mentioned with Black becoming a regular Super Saiyan. So the stuff we see of Trunks basically training with the Z sword in the manga, it's kind of 50-50. You could probably use to justify Trunks' strength in the anime. I know I didn't really touch on Black's Zenkai super crazy, or I guess mutated form of Zenkai boost in this retrospective, but I think that can be reserved for another video. So kind of get into the production side of this retrospective, this lengthy retrospective. The production, and I think talking about the production and how it could be different, and probably how it could have potentially helped Super as a product, is that, alright, the production is like this. Toriyama writes the outline of the arc based on what I've heard from Herms, from Geekdom, even Geekdom 101. A lot of YouTubers have covered this, I believe, as well. And I mean, Toyotaro came out and said this in his interview in October as well, confirming it. Toriyama writes and knows the outline, usually in bullet points of the arc. Toei takes this outline, and Toyotaro takes this outline as well. Toei does the anime, their interpretation, their execution of the outline in their own way, and Toyotaro does it in his own way as well, hence the manga and the anime separately. Hence where you could say there are two different continuities, and you can't really say there's any filler per se, I guess, for the anime. And of course, based on what Toyotaro was saying in that interview, the anime staff and him don't really like they're not really integrated and work together like that, obviously. And I think that may have been Super's, I wouldn't say downfall, but it's one of the reasons why I think Super isn't as good as it is. Now, I can understand that, I guess, the higher ups probably want to say, alright, we can make a manga, we can make money from this, we can make an anime, we can make money from this. And it kind of falls into that kind of, I guess, controversial era where, I guess, people mostly right now would gravitate towards an anime, but a manga would be nice as well. But the thing is, based on my honest opinion, the manga is a better execution of Toriyama's outline than the anime, in my honest opinion. The problem with the manga, even though the manga still has, I would guess, the power scaling problems, and I guess it has its problems, but like most of the problems in the manga, like the pacing is not the fault of Toyotaro. It's the decision of the higher ups to have it be monthly, I would suppose, and having it trying to catch up to the anime at this point. Now, I believe if Toyotaro was on the anime writing team, honestly speaking, things would have been much better. Or at least if he had been done like assigned to do manga like weekly or like bi-weekly, and then they do an anime adaptation of that, like I think it could have benefited more from that, honestly, because it's just a lot of things in the manga just make more sense to me, or they're just executed better. For example, I believe the time skip, Goku, even though honestly I do prefer the Kaioken times 10 Super Saiyan Blue in the anime. In the manga, that scene was replaced by Super Saiyan God Goku transformed back into the original Super Saiyan God. Now it's cooler for the Kaioken, but I guess from a power scaling standpoint, it makes more sense for it to be Super Saiyan God, because as I mentioned earlier, with the whole Kaioken times 10 thing, it kind of brings up this air of debate of and kind of like wonder if why hasn't Goku surpassed Beerus versus him transforming back into a Super Saiyan God. It kind of smooths that out. I mean, even though they've acknowledged that Beerus is way stronger than how he was in the movies, it's still but little stuff like that, I think the manga just overall does things better, and Toyotaro really, you can see he's a real Dragon Ball fan through and through. He does a lot of nods to the old material that Toriyama would have done in the original run of the manga. Even the fact that he got rid of the time loop, really and truly, it just makes the story flow better to me, honestly. But the production of Super, from what I can understand, it's crazy constraints, deadlines, so the anime in itself just could have been better. I think if the entire production team was more integrated, more than, I guess, separated into these different media formats, hence the manga and anime, it could have been better, honestly speaking. But it is what it is. I think have I covered everything? I mean, really and truly, it's a long retrospective, but I think it's one that's deserved. As we're really going into the universe survival arc, and Toyotaro is going to be rushing the Goku Black arc to go into that, I'm just hoping Super going forward in 2017 I just hope it just does stuff better, really and truly, because overall we have an okay arc, Battle of Gods, you have a poor arc, Resurrection F, we have good slice of life episodes, we have the good Goku Black Future Trunks arc. So overall, I think Super's like a it's still not a Z, it's still not Dragon Ball Z. It's like a 7, like a 6.5 to 7 in my eyes. I mean, objectively speaking, honestly, it's a 6.5 to a 7 to date, from the beginning to the Goku Black arc. And I know some people would actually rate it lower than that, but that's it to me, really and truly. I decided not to go too much into the latter parts of Goku Black arc, especially episode 66. I'll be doing a video on that after New Year's, so look out for that. But I don't know, guys, I know this has been a long retrospective video. I've been looking back on Super as a whole, really and truly, coming up, and kind of just giving my thoughts on everything. Of course, when Super, the next time I'll be doing like a lengthy Super review like this is when Super ends, I suppose, like covering everything again. But I think I might do that with Company next time. But really and truly, I think, like, as I look at recommendation section now, I think what Super needs is to go beyond the universe. No, go beyond the 10-year time skip. I think it would be able to, it would position itself to be a better series if it goes beyond that point, because they have more resources to work with, more potential, such as Oob, Pan. People will be more interested in the fact that it is kind of going into the time that GT would have been, but it's not that we are rewriting GT, because GT isn't canon, but it would be more tension filled. The position into a situation where, because Super is at a point where no matter what happens to the characters, we know things will work out fine, because at the end of Z everybody's fine. So I think that's what Super needs, really and truly, and just that, and to just work on making a more consistent power scale, really and truly. I mean, it's pretty messed up at this point. It's hard to say if they can like rectify it, but that's like my really recommendations for the anime. At this point, I don't really expect the production team, like when I say production, I mean like everybody, like Toriyama, Toyotaro, Toei, to like integrate. They're gonna keep things separate into the manga and anime, but it just should have been Toyotaro on the writing team, or Toyotaro doing the manga with Toriyama, and they do an anime adaptation off that. That's how I feel. I think things would have worked out better. I know that can't be a recommendation at this point, but yeah. But that's really it, guys. I'm hoping you enjoyed this retrospective on Dragon Ball Super to date. I know it's lengthy. But I'm just hoping if you actually stuck around until the end of this, thanks. And just thanks to the subscribers, to everybody for supporting me up to this point. I'm hoping everybody sticks around to see my content in 2017. I'm hoping to actually kind of branch out of just Dragon Ball and Naruto. Well, I want to do more Naruto. I know I've been doing Naruto, but it's still mainly Dragon Ball. But I'm hoping to kind of switch up the content a bit more, and hope people just stay tuned. I want to know everybody's thoughts if in the comment section. Just let me know what you think about the various arcs, the problems, the power scaling problems, the writing problems, the quality of the anime, the choreography, the animation. Kind of throwing out some stuff to be kind of discussed in the comment section below, really and truly. But really and truly, this is Sanjay Uchiha, people, and hoping 2016 was pretty good for everybody. Well, it kind of just sucked for me, but there was some good. But I'm hoping everybody has a great 2017, and can't wait for the Universe Survival arc. And I'll see you in the next one, people. Peace out.